from an ordinary fairy to a royal designer. Long ago, in the Glittergrove forest, there lived a little fairy named Tilla. She wasn't the strongest fairy. She couldn't make thunder, couldn't summon rainbows, and definitely couldn't fly as fast as her friends. But Tilla had one tiny talent. She loved designing clothes. While other fairies practiced magic spells, Tilla collected flower petals, dewdrops, and spider silk threads to stitch little dresses for her doll. One sunny morning, the forest fairies giggled. "Tilla, you'll never be important with dresses. Fairies need magic, not fashion." Tilla's cheeks turned pink, but she kept quiet. Deep inside, she whispered to herself, "One day, my designs will shine brighter than magic." In the nearby Crystal Palace, Princess Lyra was worried. Tomorrow was the great fairy ball where every fairy shows their power. But her royal gown? Torn by mischievous pixies. The queen sighed. "We need the finest designer in the land, or tomorrow our princess will have no gown." A hummingbird messenger flew across the forest. It landed on Tilla's windowsill with a tiny scroll. "Royal emergency. We need your help." Tilla gasped. "Me? An ordinary fairy?" But she packed her needle, thread, and brave little heart. At the palace, Tilla saw the ruined dress. She touched it gently and whispered, "Don't worry, little gown. We'll make you shine again." She worked all night. She stitched with moonlight threads. She embroidered roses from glowing petals. She added stars that twinkled whenever the princess moved. The gown became more magical than any spell. When Princess Lyra entered the ballroom, every fairy gasped. The gown sparkled like the midnight sky. The queen declared, "Tilla, from this day forward, you are the royal designer of the fairy kingdom." The fairies who once teased her clapped with wide eyes. Tilla smiled, not out of pride, but joy. Sometimes the smallest talent becomes the brightest magic of all. Believe in what makes you different. It may be your greatest gift.
Long ago, beyond the Silver Mountains, there was a hidden kingdom called Lunaria. It was a place of wonder, where glowing flowers lit the night, rivers sang with music, and fairies danced in the skies. In this kingdom lived a kind princess named Seraphina. She was unlike any other princess because she carried a gift: the ability to speak with fairies. Her best friend was Lyra, the crystal fairy, who sparkled like a star and carried magic dust that could heal anything. But one day, a dark sorcerer named Malvorn stole the crystal of light, the heart of Lunaria. Without it, the kingdom began to fade, the glowing flowers wilted, the music of the rivers went silent, and the fairies lost their power. Princess Seraphina, with her courage, set out on a quest to restore her land. Along the way, she met Prince Kale, a brave adventurer who could command the winds with his sword. He joined her, promising to help bring back the light. Together, they faced enchanted forests full of whispering trees, crossed bridges guarded by trolls, and solved riddles given by talking owls. Each step tested their kindness and bravery. At last, they reached Malvorn's shadowy fortress. The sorcerer laughed, swirling darkness around them. "You cannot defeat me. The crystal of light is mine." But Seraphina held out her hand to Lyra, the crystal fairy. With a burst of courage, Lyra sprinkled her shimmering dust, and Kale raised his sword. calling upon the power of the winds. Their magic combined with Seraphina's pure heart, forming a brilliant rainbow light that shattered Malvorn's darkness. He, the crystal of light, returned to its place, glowing brighter than ever. Lunaria bloomed once again, the flowers sang, rivers sparkled, and the fairies danced freely in the skies. The people of Lunaria cheered, and Princess Seraphina was hailed as the bravest of all. She and Prince Kael became protectors of the kingdom, ensuring that kindness, courage, and friendship would always shine brighter than darkness. And from that day on, Lunaria remained the most magical kingdom in all the lands.
Once upon a time, in the sparkling kingdom of Zarveen, there lived a kind-hearted princess named Neelofer. She was not an ordinary princess. Her long silky hair shimmered with every color of the rainbow. Her magical hair could heal wounds, make flowers bloom, and even light up the darkest night. Princess Neelofer's best friends were a gentle white swan with silver feathers and a glorious unicorn with a golden horn. The swan's feathers could carry messages across lakes and rivers, while the unicorn's horn glowed whenever danger was near. One bright morning, a dark cloud covered the kingdom. An evil sorcerer named Zarok had stolen the kingdom's star jewel, which gave light to the skies at night. Without it, the stars began to fade, and the people grew afraid of the endless darkness. Princess Neelofer knew she had to save her kingdom. She climbed onto her unicorn, while the swan flew above them, guiding the way. They traveled through enchanted forests, crossed crystal rivers, and finally reached the Sorcerer's Mountain. Zarok laughed when he saw them. "You think your shining hair and little pets can stop me?" he hissed. But Neelofer was brave. She let down her magical hair, and its glow wrapped around the sorcerer like a golden rope. The unicorn struck the ground with its horn, creating a shield of light, while the swan dropped silver feathers that turned into tiny arrows, flying towards Zarok. Together, they weakened the sorcerer until Neelofer touched him with her glowing hair. At once, his dark powers melted away, and the star jewel was free. The princess placed the jewel back into the night sky. The stars shone brighter than ever, and the people of Zarveen cheered with joy. From that day on, Princess Neelofer, the magical swan, and the unicorn became the protectors of the kingdom, and every night, when the stars twinkled, the children whispered, "Thank you, Princess Neelofer, for bringing back the light." And so, she lived happily ever after.
Once upon a time, in a quiet kingdom hidden behind silver mountains, there lived a princess named Elara. She had long golden hair, eyes like the morning sky, and a heart full of dreams, but not much to smile about. Every morning, Elara woke up in a cold, lonely tower. Though her palace was grand, no laughter echoed through the halls. Her parents, the king and queen, were too busy ruling and rarely noticed her sadness. She had no friends, no pet, and no one to tell stories to. Her birthday would come and go with only a crown-shaped cake, no candles, and no warm hug. One day, as raindrops tapped gently on her window, Elara whispered, "I wish the wind could carry my heart far away, to a place where someone cares." That night, something magical happened. A soft breeze crept in through her window, wrapped around her like a hug, and carried her Tia into the sky. The next morning, Elara found a feather lying on her pillow, bright blue and glowing. It was from the windbird, a rare creature that hears lonely hearts. Elara followed the feather through the castle gardens, past the locked gates, into the woods. There, she found a small cottage where an old woman lived with a cat, a squirrel, and a parrot who spoke in rhymes. "Come in, princess," said the kind woman. "Your wish floated to me on the wind." Elara blinked. "You heard it?" "Of course," the woman smiled. "Sad hearts speak the loudest." From that day on, Elara spent her afternoons at the cottage, helping with chores, laughing with the parrot, and reading stories to animals. Slowly, her sadness turned to warmth. Though she still lived in the cold tower, the wind would visit every night, bringing her the sounds of the forest, the scent of pine, and whispers from her new animal friends. She was still a princess in a lonely castle, but now she was never truly alone.
Once upon a time, in a land where the grass glowed silver under the moonlight and flowers sang in soft voices, there lived Princess Lyra, the butterfly princess. She had wings more dazzling than a rainbow after the rain. Each beat of her wings sprinkled sparkling dust that made the meadow bloom with colors. The creatures of the shimmering meadow, tiny glow bugs, rabbits with fluffy tails, and birds with golden feathers adored her. But not far away, in the shadowy thicket, lurked Morvain, the thorn sorcerer. He despised light, joy, and especially the meadow's endless blossoms. One stormy night, he whispered a spell that sent a dark fog slithering toward the meadow. Flowers wilted, streams dried, and the butterflies lost their colors. "Without your magic wings, little princess," Morvain sneered, "your meadow will belong to me." Princess Lyra refused to give up. With her best friend's Flicker, a brave firefly who glowed like a lantern, Pip, a cheeky squirrel with a knack for finding secret paths, and Aurora, a wise unicorn with a shimmering mane, she set off to the crystal cavern where the Heartstone of Light was hidden. Only with its magic could she break the sorcerer's curse. But the journey was far from easy. First, they crossed the River of Whispers, where enchanted waters tried to trick them with voices of doubt. Lyra held firm, singing softly, and her song kept her friends from being lured into the current. Next, they climbed the stormy cliff, where shadow bats swooped at them. Pip bravely leapt from rock to rock, distracting the bats, while Aurora used her horn to shine beams of light that scared them away. Finally, deep inside the crystal cavern, they found the Heartstone, glowing faintly, almost drained of light. But Morvain appeared, wrapping the cavern in thorns. Morvain raised his staff, sending waves of dark magic. Lyra, though afraid, spread her shimmering wings. The dust from her feathers mixed with the faint glow of the Heartstone, creating a dazzling burst of rainbow light. "Your thorns cannot choke hope, Morvain," she cried. The Heartstone flared brilliantly, shattering his shadows. The thorns crumbled and the sorcerer vanished into the night, powerless. As dawn touched the sky, the shimmering meadow awoke. Flowers lifted their heads, butterflies regained their colors, and streams sparkled once more. Princess Lyra, her wings brighter than ever, danced joyfully with her friends. She knew the meadow would always be safe, as long as kindness, courage, and friendship shone brighter than fear. And so, every evening, the meadow glows under the moonlight thanks to the butterfly princess of Shimmering Meadow. Moral of the story: true strength comes from courage, friendship, and never giving up, even when shadows try to dim your light.